So in the meantime, we're going to be a very messy personality.
Yeah. It's going to be like a combination of bits of facade here and bits of real self there, and sometimes you won't even know which bit is the real bit. And then you work it out, through your experimentation, and you're making mistakes. You work it all out. You go, oh, well, this bit's unloving, so obviously that's out of harmony with love. Therefore, must be my facade. But yeah, it can be messy. But see, this is the thing: is that most of you are going like, what are you doing? Juggling. How hard is it to continue juggling in your life?
Exhausting.
It's exhausting. Now, what most of you need to do is this. So you're doing this, right? This is what you're doing now, and then you just... That's what you need to do. Just drop it all. Surrender. Drop it all.
So we have to feel at least a good percentage of our terror to be then expressing mostly our personality until we are fully ourselves.
And it's a gradual thing. Yeah. You start out feeling very little of your real self, and then as you proceed and let yourself, usually it becomes a gradual thing. But it doesn't have to be a gradual thing if you think about it, because we could choose to just embrace it and be done with the results, couldn't we? We could have some courage just to choose to just step into what we know our real self is, and when you're modifying yourself, you do. Most of the time you do know. I'm uncomfortable here, I don't like it here, I don't like it there, I don't feel like it's good here now, but I'm sitting here because I feel like I have to. When you're doing all those things, do the opposite to that. And I've found as a general principle, just do the opposite of what you feel like doing. Because what you feel like doing is generally your facade and addictions in play, because when we start, that's how it is. So what I decided to do in many cases was just do the opposite. So I didn't feel like going shopping, so I went to go shopping. I didn't feel like being home, so I stayed home. I didn't feel like being alone, so I was alone. I didn't feel like spending any time with people, so I went and spent some time with people. Just confront the addictions that are in play. I didn't feel like patting a cat, so I pat a cat. Right down to just stuff like that. It's amazing what you learn. Yeah. Didn't feel like exposing my heart, so I exposed my heart. Didn't feel like telling the truth, so I tell the truth. When you begin, you can pretty much assume, can't you, that pretty much every action is driven by facade and addiction. So if you do the opposite, then it's going to confront something. I've found doing opposites have worked fantastic for me for a large part of my progression.
Thank you.
Okay. So expressing your personality, let's have a look. God's love is the thing that helps me be myself. The reason why it helps me be myself is quite obvious if you think about it. If God loves me only when I'm myself, can you see that will drive me to be myself all the time? Once you've received a little bit of God's love and you realise that it's only there when you're choosing to be yourself, that's going to cause you to choose to be yourself. Do you see? And if God's love is more important to you, if God's love and loving God is more important to you than anything else, then you won't care if joy attacks me. Well, that's joy's issue, If joy attacks me for being myself, and I've still got God giving me love for being myself, do you think joy's attack will matter much to me? Will it? It won't. I barely probably feel it or consider it. And it's not about ignoring her or anything. It's just the fact that God's love is more important. I can feel God's love entering me when I'm myself. So that's going to drive me to be myself. Isn't that true? See, most of us haven't tried that, but that's what happens. How can we need to get to the stage where we can live in this world where we are the only person who loves ourselves, and we're still okay living in the world. Now, the way that happens is because if you can feel God's love, then of course that's a very safe and secure place. You now feel safe and secure in all of your interactions with the world itself, because you're feeling God's love while you're going through the world. It's the times when we don't feel God's love, that's when it's difficult. That's when life's a lot more difficult. So we learn to express our personality in order to maintain our connection with God, our true parent. So that's why we express our personality. That's how one of the ways we maintain a connection with God, by being who we are, by being the person God created us to be, in fact. That's how we connect to God.